What's up, everybody? Getting some things together here. What's up, Big Owls? First one in here, welcome. Jason, how's it going, man? Joe, how's it going, bud? Well, here's what we're going to work on today. We got some goodies for the Typhon 6S. Last couple times we've had this thing out. Bring you guys overhead here for a moment. So, Typhon 6S. One of my favorite ones. But there's been one piece mainly. Well, a couple things. Number one, if you guys can see here, bending the rear shock towers on this thing pretty much left and right. The front one is somewhat a little more sturdy, but the back one I keep bending. And the biggest issue I keep having with this car is the upper hinge pin brace. I know it's kind of hard to see, but any of you guys that know these cars, the upper hinge pins that hold the upper A-arms in, this pin that goes in there, goes up top, I keep breaking this plastic piece. It keeps snapping left and right, especially during the wintertime here. You're at the shop today, Jason? Is there a rumor about my multi-viewers? Somebody mentioned something to me about that. But anyway, so what I was doing is I was on M2C, and M2C sent me along some goodies here. We got a new M2C Racing front shock tower, the M2C Racing rear shock tower. Also, I got the M2C Racing front brace in here for it. And also, I got this. Now, this is very similar. I'm pretty sure this is the right one. This was for one of the older Kratons, but it's the same setup. But it is that plastic piece now in aluminum. And this camera is making it so I cannot get the white balance happy on this camera, and it drives me bonkers. It's a little bit better. But anyway, I got the aluminum version. It is threaded, and I got a brand new set of the upper hinge pins because the stock ones, or the ones that are in here now, are, they look like a wet noodle. They are all wobbled, and I figured I'm putting a new aluminum one in there. Number one, I have a feeling that they would probably try to cross thread going into the aluminum. So I got some new hinge pins. So what we're going to work on right now is getting a few upgrades put on the Typhon, the new shock towers, the new upper hinge pin brace, the center brace, and kind of going over this thing a little bit. I also got a big box of goodies for the Kraton 8S. Let's see here. So this showed up. I was on eBay for the Kraton 8S. I just recently got this all fixed up again. However, the rear bumper is busted up on it, and the front bumper is kind of busted up on it after taking the telephone pole head on. I haven't opened this box up yet, but I found it on eBay, and it was an entire set of plastic, like the side skids, the bumpers, a whole bunch of stuff for the Kraton 8S. It was one big lot they had, and I think I got it for like 12 bucks or something. So we're going to open this up, see what they all included in that. But for the moment, we're going to get the Typhon 6S fixed up here and get this thing proper, because this thing, man, just is one of my favorite cars. I mean, I love this thing. This thing flies like a rocket. But this upper hinge pin is definitely its weak spot. As soon as these wheels get tweaked or hit too hard, or even really hard, slamming impacts, that upper hinge pin that's plastic it snaps so easy, and then your upper arms fall out, and your day's over, unfortunately. So we're going to get that thing's feet changed out. What do I got in here? Steve-O, what's going on? Guy on a moose, what's up, buddy? Bubbles, how's he doing? Yeah, time to beef up the Typhon a little bit. Make this thing a little bit better. This thing's already awesome, the way that it sits, but there's a few tiny little spots on this thing you could definitely use, some upgrades. So, what end do we want to start with? The front or the rear here? Tell you what, let's get the first easy part. Well, not even really easy, but we'll get the first part out. We will get the rear shock tower changed out first and get that over with. I'm going to get the wing off of here because it's far easier. I got too big of bits in here. I've been working was working on the Kraton 8S. Everything requires bigger bits in that thing. Everything is bigger on that car. But how's everybody doing today? You know, I wanted to go out for a little run today. I really did. However, it's 7 degrees outside. So, yeah, we're inside the shop today. I will go out when it's cold. You guys know I have no problem going out in the 20s, in the 30s, but something about the single-digit weather, you know, you can't. The problem is you can't stand out there very long with your hands exposed. It's just you freeze. My hands turn into ice. So I was not super interested in going out today and having my fingers turn into blocks of ice. What's up, Mathis? Hello from Australia. Glad you're in here, buddy. I just got done bashing with your 3S. Oh, nice. Did you have some fun out there? Wrong one. Let's see if I can get these upper... Wow. These suckers are tight. I don't remember if I put Loctite on these things. But they are they are on there. Of course, it's all going to turn. It's 70 here in Ocala. Ah, don't tell me that. I know, everybody, you know, a bunch of guys I've been talking to today in different places are all out in California. And in this beautiful weather, nice and sunny. And here I am, dealing with 7 degrees, and everything is a frozen block, like the Arctic tundra outside. But we have this time of the year. This is what it is. Get used to it, kind of. Kind of get used to it. I definitely say that. We deal with it. I appreciate that, Paul. I'm glad you're having fun with it, buddy. Really glad you're enjoying the car. Hopefully we get to finish, actually do this Everest giveaway now, and we don't have any more scammers try to pop in and ruin anybody's fun. But I think now that I left it just as a video on here, so realistically, you know, mainly just anybody subscribed to the channel should see that. I mean, granted, there might be some people that, you know, searching for an Everest 10 might see the video, but most likely it should stay pretty low-key, which is good. Because I don't want to deal with all of that stuff again. How's it going, Chris? How's it going, bud? Oh, yeah, Paul. Enter in, man. You know, everybody can have a chance to win. See who the lucky winner is going to be this time. I'm going to leave that video up for probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. And then I'll post up another video, you know, with the winner as usual. And I will get it shipped out to you. So we'll see how that all goes. I have a feeling that the only reason... I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that the bots are always trolling YouTube and looking for videos or anything that says, you know, free giveaways and stuff. But I never had this problem before until I made the video public on Facebook. As soon as I put up the Facebook post about that giveaway is as soon as I had the issue with that happening. So I didn't do that this time, so hopefully it goes a little smoother. What's up, Beast Mode? It's 45 degrees in Tennessee, huh? Yeah, it's even kind of chilly for you guys. Well, I guess not too bad, but it's definitely not 7 degrees at least, Jason. So I'm glad not having the same thing. You know, I always remember if these body posts have to go. I don't think they matter on the Typhon. On the Kratons and stuff like that, I don't know how many times I have put these body posts back on the wrong way. The Typhon, I put the aluminum bulkhead on this thing, and I didn't even realize how bent this shock tower was, but check this out. I don't know if you guys can even tell. Yeah, right there you can really see. It's pretty bent. This rear shock tower has taken some serious hits. So she's pretty warped. Definitely in need of this. And so far, everything, with M2C that I have put on these cars has been holding up phenomenal. So hopefully the old shock towers here, man, it's just some really beautiful machining work. Stuff looks great. Going on, good. Yeah, Big Al's, I hear you, man. The weather, that's the big dampener of the winter time is definitely the bummer time. At least for me here, especially. I mean, any of you guys that are into cold weather, but the winter time, we all know that it comes with a little bit more limited time getting to go out and have some fun, but the warm weather and nice will be back again soon. So, we'll all be out there having some fun again. Go ahead and get all these screws started. Now this does have the aluminum bulkhead in it. I put the Hot Racing aluminum bulkhead on this. I think like I said before, I think I have them on every 6S car I have now. I haven't left any of them plastic because I'm tired of dealing with the plastic bulkheads. They warp and bend too easy and you start ripping apart the diff, so. The next one I got to change out, and I already have the bulkhead for it, is for the new Mojave. I did get to take that out also, guys. Kind of take it out. Armor Junkies for Life, what's up? It's 30 here in North Carolina. 15 here. Now, what is that in Fahrenheit? I'm terrible with that conversion, buddy. I'm sorry. Is that cold? You think by now, at the age of 43, I would have learned and remembered that stuff. However, clearly, I haven't. I always try to remember the difference, what it equaled out to in Fahrenheit, but I always forget it. Sometimes I don't know if it's easier just to take the shocks off because they seem to fight you and get in your way. It'd probably be better if I put this up on a stand, honestly. I probably should put this up on a stand. But, let's see if we can get this. As soon as I get these in, the camber links in, I'll be good. There we go. Around 38 degrees here in southern Kentucky. Yeah, all you guys down south are kind of floating in the upper 30s, low 40s. Up here in the northeast. It's a little cooler, man. Last night, the wind was just... I was having a hard time falling asleep. The wind was blowing so hard. The trees out behind my place and everything were just howling like crazy. It was all this cold and I don't know what else coming in. Some areas around here have actually started getting, it's not started, but some places around here today we're getting some snow flurries and snow hitting on and off. It hasn't snowed here yet, but it is quite cold. So I'm hoping I want to get the old Italian hoagie and the Typhon down to the skate park and give these things some nice launches. After the last couple times, I got to drill this out. Are these threaded? I don't think these are threaded. No. So I didn't know this, but the M2C shock towers come with the standard size holes. They're not pre-drilled for their... I mean, it makes sense because if you're wanting to run their shock towers without their standoffs, you can do that. But I'm going to have to drill out a little bigger hole in these beautiful shock towers. There's one. Nothing like drilling holes through nice new parts. Man, you can tell that's the 7075 aluminum. It's got a lot harder, crisper noise to it. Get rid of the aluminum shavings. Get rid of the leaves that are blowing out everywhere. 16 in Michigan. I'm surprised you're not colder up there. Oh, 5 degrees. Yeah, you're cold too. That is definitely some cold stuff. I don't know what it is. As soon as you get below, that like 20 degree mark, I mean, it's that type of cold that just burns right through anything you have on it. Gloves, jackets, it just hurts. No, is that still not big enough? Thought I reamed it out enough. I guess not initially. So close. There we go. This is a drill bit that you get with the shock standoffs. Wow, I forgot how straight. I didn't realize how straight that shock tower actually sat up normally. That thing was really bent backwards, the old one. I kind of thought it had a little bit of a bow backwards naturally, but evidently not. That one is far different. See the broken dreams and terrible weather. Yeah. I come up to Michigan quite often. I mean, not a ton, but pretty often we come up there, to Detroit and stuff for work. And, there's not anywhere in this country, and I have been pretty much in every major city especially, and a lot of cities that people probably never heard of throughout this entire country. And it doesn't matter where you go. Every single state has its not so lovely areas for sure. Some places have a few better areas than others, but all of them got their problem places. Oh, sweet. I just realized my dry shaft fell out of this side. So I gotta open this side back up again. But I'll get the shock towers put in there. I don't know how that fell back out. And everything smells like a refinery. Well, that you're definitely true on. You go around there and everything definitely smells like a refinery. I'm trying to remember where we were just at. We were just doing a football championship somewhere, and the stadium, if Jason's still in, he might remember. I'm terrible, guys. I lose track of where I've been. But we were just doing a football championship, and the stadium, the college football stadium, was literally, I mean, you could have pretty much thrown a rock into the refinery. And I mean, the smell there all day was just unbelievable. I don't know how anybody in that area lives near that stuff. Or lives near that place. I mean, the smell was just horrendous. It smelled like, rotten eggs and just, it was terrible. Really bad odor. Is everybody loafing at work today on here or off work? Playing hooky? Which one is it? We're also going to head back up to the indoor track. I haven't got to publish that video yet. There's been so many different videos I've been trying to get out in certain orders right now. But I do have the video with the techno that will be coming up here probably next day or two. But I'm hoping to actually head back up to the indoor track this week. This Thursday is an all-day open practice. So I'm thinking we're going to head up there and have a little fun with that place. Only working today is bashing. Nice. Where are you heading, Robert? Going anywhere fun or just going out? Built a few walls this morning, having the rest of the day off. Nice. You doing drywall walls? Because let me tell you, there's two things that I despise doing. And one is drywall, and two is painting. Why does my computer always want to try to do an update whenever I'm trying to do live. Lovely windows. Always wants to update every 5 minutes. Nice, just put the M2C top plate. Oh, nice. You know, I was just discussing doing a build. I want to do another build here. You know, after doing the Techno, the ET48, I really want to do another build. I'm thinking about, you know, after watching Earl's video and stuff like that, I thought about doing an MT. But I don't know. I want to do something, but I'm not sure what exactly I want to put together. I want to build something kind of crazy. Like go something with a little bit complete overkill power, and just start from the ground up, like a full M2C build of some sort. I'm not sure yet. Trying to figure out what I want to do or what I want to build yet. Framing the walls, but I'll get the. I'm sorry, Paul. I mean, if you're used to it, me and finishing work like that with, what's this thing doing? It's funny. I have the patience to sit here and tear these things down, you know, work on this stuff, and it's completely fun and relaxing to me, and I enjoy it. Sitting there trying to cut in a line with a paintbrush, I'd sooner just ram the paintbrush through the wall. I don't know what it is about painting especially, but it's just not my forte, for sure. Bubbles, 4 years ago I snapped it while loading drinks on my food truck. Did a surgery and didn't help. Snapped it worse again. Oh, jeez. Wait, what did you snap, Bubbles? I think I missed something. What did you snap? Didn't sound very good, whatever it was. Alright, well, we got the new M2C Racing rear center brace on here, and I think I put the wrong screws in the wrong place. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did. You know, I'm looking, I'm going, wait a minute, I feel like I'm missing 2 screws. Well, sure enough. But I don't know. Honestly, all of these seem too long, so maybe it was these. No, never mind. Ignore me, guys. I'm losing my mind. I'm like, there's 2 screws that got to go there. Well, they're for the wing, you bonehead. All right, you just came out of there. Now go back in. There we go. Snap my lower back. Oh, man. And I can only imagine how bad that's got to be. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. Worst thing, I broke many things back in the day when I raced motocross. The worst thing I ever broke was my tailbone. Snapped it completely off, and that was miserable. I can not imagine when you start breaking stuff like that. Yeah, broken bits are not any fun. Alright, well, back end's almost all back together. Yeah, I thought about, you know, I did think about that also, Peter. Sorry, I was trying to make sure. You know, thought about putting together some sort of hybrid out of, you know, some different stuff. You know, a lot of people are doing, you know, the stretched Mojaves and all that stuff. But, you know, I just kind of, you know, I got lots of stuff. Between, you know, the Outcast 8S, it's got fully changed and a lot of stuff built on that thing. One of my favorite trucks. But I kind of want to do something completely from the ground up as a new build. So that's why I'm trying to figure out what would be the most fun. Alright, well, I guess it's time to get this thing out of here. I might as well pull the front shocks off of this thing first, because inevitably, if I'm changing out the front Man, I don't remember making these things this tight, guys. This crossbone bothering for 20 years. Oh, man, 4 years been doing... Yeah, that's got to be rough. Bring you guys back overhead if you guys want to see this side of what I'm tearing apart or breaking, you know. Hopefully not break anything. Object is to make it better. But, yeah, this has been fun. I want to go out because I got all this stuff done to the X-Max and stuff I want to test out on that thing with the new center brace and things. And this weather is just not very cooperative for that because it's like, I know I could go out and run and I could bear through it and freeze. But I just know everything's going to snap within the first, 5 or 10 minutes. Like in a video you guys will see coming up with the X-Max. I did have it out because I took it and then took the Mojave out. But the X-Max lasted about 10 minutes because of the A-arms in this cold weather. So it didn't hold together very long. And why is that so... There it goes. Jeez. Alright. Well, I guess we'll tear the front shock tower off this thing. Get this out of the way, because it's got to come off. Well, it doesn't have to come off to change this, but it'll make it easier. More stuff out of the way. Inevitably, this upper hinge pin's got to come out. And they are so bent and wobbly, it's bad. Especially the driver's side is the most bent one. The passenger side wasn't too bad, but they're both bent up pretty bad, so at least we got some new ones to stick in there. What's up, Evolve? Yeah, we're doing a little work on the Typhon 6S today, man. Doing a few upgrades, a few changes to it. Getting her fixed up again. Well, I guess, it's kind of inaccurate too, but we're working on the Typhon 6S. And I think I dropped my little plastic spacers. I wish they came up with a better thing than these plastic spacers. Something that doesn't just, as soon as you loosen it up, they fall out and then they vanish. Not a big fan of those, to be honest with you. They need to come up with something different. But everybody kind of uses them. That was kind of one thing I noticed during the Techno build that was really awesome, is that the spacers they used in there and the way you could adjust everything, that even once the spacers started to get play in them, you could still adjust that. And you could always close up the gap and make all the tolerances and all the steering and the hinge pins and everything always very tight. Kind of a nice design. Now this upper plate, I've had to kind of mess around with a couple times. I had to put this plastic piece underneath this one. However, with the aluminum, I can't do that. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to make this work, or change out this little plastic nub that holds the front body post on, because I can't do the same thing I have been doing. But that's the plastic one. Well, if you guys can see, I don't have the overhead camera on now, but this thing, I broke this thing so many times, I went with a 2mm larger screw to hold the body post in. So, and I had super glued it with that. Now that I'm going this direction, I can't mount this underneath the aluminum because I'm not about to drill out the aluminum and get all crazy with that. So, I'm going to have to get this one off of here and figure out how I'm going to make this work. I basically got to put it back to stock is all it is. I have a new body post, luckily. I had ordered one with some other stuff. So I should be able to reuse this whole contraption. If I can get this screw out of here. That body post kept coming off constantly. And it was driving me nuts. So I resorted to putting a larger screw in it and super gluing it, which, you know, super glue is always good for a temporary fix. However, not so much when you want to fix it again. And I think this actual screw hole is filled with plastic from the old nub breaking off. So I'm going to have to drill that out. Because I have this. I don't know if you guys can even see it. But besides the big hole, there's a tiny little hole right there that the other piece of the plastic kind of locks into. Well, the old nub piece broke off of it and is stuck in there now. So I'm going to have to drill that out so that I can actually use this hole like it's supposed to. Trying to find the right size drill bit. It kind of feels like it. What's up, Hardcore? What's up, Dave? How's it going, man? There it goes. It actually passed the whole way through. It popped right out pretty easily. Doing a little work on the Typhon 6S today. So hopefully now with the new hinge pin brace, we can do this right here. Let this sit in there. So that should all lock up in there. I gotta get a little longer screw now. But that should work. Hopefully I don't tear this thing out again. It's always on the really hard landings that I always end up blowing this screw out of this thing or ripping it out. Let's see how this works out. Looks like it's gonna fit. Yeah, this should work. Trying to catch up on the comments here for a moment. Oh, good, thanks. Yeah. Stupid post kept breaking off. I used a piece of Velcro. Yeah, I know. This post has always been a problem child on these things. But hopefully this one stays in place now. Now I just got to get these screws to line up. There's one. And hopefully the second one lines up. Beautiful. Sorry, I know. I just realized I was on the overhead here, but so I'm going to tighten all these up real quick. I'll show you guys what we got. So glad this came in aluminum because this part on the Typhons is just a massive weak spot. But now that whole upper steering brace with a hinge pin is now the nice aluminum version, and we should not be dealing with that, hopefully. Now, I'm seeing an issue here. Hold on a second, guys. Did I mount this wrong? I couldn't have. I think this has to mount that way, to be honest with you. Now I'm curious if I need to spin that around or not. You guys can see what I'm talking about. So this end kind of has a little bit of a, you guys probably can't, that camera is not doing what I want it to do. But anyway, there's a slight notch in right here on one end, and the other side's just flat. I'm wondering which end needs to be facing forward. If I mount that like that, everything looks like it should mount up just fine. I don't see a problem with either way, honestly. I think I don't see if I had it the other way any benefits to it, to be honest with you. Making sure all the steering clears and everything fine. It all seems to be normal. I'm not sure. I'm wondering which way this is supposed to go, guys. Whoop. Just bumped the button. Well. Oh, no, it's got to go the other way. Now I see why it's flanged that way a little bit. It actually kind of hugs closer towards the top plate around the corner of it. So that's why it's like that. You know, I had a 50-50 shot of putting it on the right way the first time. And usually end up picking the wrong way the first time. The way it always seems to go. Can I spin this around? Like, there we go. All right. Now I think we will be good to go. If I can get the little plastic thing to line up again. All right. That looks more better. Oh, what's going on in here? I was just about to sub. We did. I don't know if you guys seen the post. I don't know if you guys have seen on here or on the channel NBRC. He cracked me up. He made a post up with the Italian. And he made his own sticker now for it that also says the Italian. Honestly, guys, it's cracking me up because it's funny how misspeaking the name of it one time suddenly turns into stuff like that. It's just hilarious, to be honest with you. I forgot. I'm going to put some Loctite, at least a little bit, on the inside of these threads so that this thing doesn't back out too easy. At least give it something to hold on to. Yeah, see that? All right. Now she's ready to go back in. Came out nice. Everything looks proper. But yeah, there's little... It's kind of cut out. I'm sure you can't see that. But anyway, you can kind of see that it's like slightly notched out in here if you see these. But it had to line up like that. So it definitely makes more sense having it this way. Now we got it this torn apart. We can go ahead and remove the front shock tower and change that out now and get the new M2C shock tower on here. At the same time, I got to remove that front brace. I've had the Hot Racing front center brace on this thing. It's held up pretty good. I have snapped off the screw in this thing twice for some reason. Because it takes a small screw. And it's the only thing I don't like about it. And it's what I like better, honestly, about the M2C braces. Is that they take the larger screw. And they don't snap off like the other ones do. I like the Hot Racing braces work out fine. But the screw they use up here on the front of the bulkhead is too small, and they shear off. What's up one way? But anyway, the front shock tower isn't bent too terrible. It's just got a little bit of a tweak to it. But since I'm changing the rear one out, I figure we might as well change out the front also here and get the new one on here. So nice and shiny. Beautiful parts. But, go ahead and get this one mounted up now. Trying to poke in on the chat every once in a while, guys. I'm hoping I'm not missing too much at the moment. Sounds like you guys are kind of having your own conversations in there, which is awesome. one thing great, about this whole community, guys. Everybody gets in these chat rooms, and I do it all the time too, getting in there on other people's lives and just chatting with everybody else. Not even necessarily coming in there for that person's chat, but just coming in there to chat with everybody else. It's always fun. All right, so we got those two in there. Get these other two braces, or other two screws in this thing. Get them started. Man, she's looking sharp with the new towers. The front bulkhead's still plastic. The front ones don't break too often. I killed one on the Italian hoagie, but that was just due to flat landing it on the jump. It was definitely not really skying it off of that vert wall. Was a little bit hard on it. Sorry, grabbing a drink in the vape here. You're like a big bash. Exactly, Robert. That's awesome. What's up, Earl? How's it going, bud? We were just talking about the techno and trying to figure out what I want to build next. I want to put something together, just not sure what. I guess I'm going to go ahead and remove the old center brace now. Probably be easiest to take this thing out now. There's still bits and pieces of grass and dirt falling out of this thing. I'm going to hold on to this brace, obviously, for something else. It's just like the Mojave, the EXB ones I had from that, I took out and put in the Mojave temporarily to get rid of the ones on there. Just broken too many center braces recently, so it's kind of something I like changing out pretty quickly. Can I move? I think. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Can moderators? Honestly, I'm not even sure. Earl, can you post a link to something? I don't know. I just recently started making a couple people moderators in here. But I don't know, and I've honestly never tried. Who all can post stuff? I know when I've been in other people's chats that I see sometimes links being posted, but okay. Alright, well that makes sense. Yeah, that's the reason why I know moderators. I wanted to start getting a couple in here that are, kind of regularly drop in. So, if, you start getting any of those goofballs in there that start posting things that are not appropriate, they can be knocked to the side. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put some blue Loctite in this thing. I don't know which way you guys do your Loctite on anything that has a pass-through hole. If the hole goes the whole way through the object, I have been putting a little bit of Loctite on the inside of it. Because I feel like at that rate, at least you're pushing it through all of the threads. If you put it on the screw, as it threads on, it pushes most of the Loctite off. How do you guys Loctite? All right, where's my new screw here? There it is. Nope, there it is. Stop texting and driving. Oh, yeah. Well, be careful, Earl. We don't need you getting in an accident, buddy. Yeah, I was moderator on a couple channels, and honestly, though, I've never tried posting, and I never tried posting a link, so I wasn't sure. I don't know why I can't get the screw started, guys. Am I just not hitting it? All right, well, clearly I wasn't hitting the hole. Try that again. The other thing I like about these braces is not only do you have the screw that goes the whole way through the brace, but you also have a nylon locking nut that goes on the top so that this thing cannot wind itself loose or completely fall out. Yeah, if anybody needs to post something, let me know. I could figure something out here. All right. We get the locking nut in the top center here now. Because I have not had one of these center braces come loose on me now, being able to put the locking nut on top. It just makes a big difference getting that nylon washer locking nut on top of that thing. Are you going anywhere fun, Earl, or are you not working, or are you heading out for a run, man? Me, I'm in here, inside, in the warm garage, because it's 7 degrees outside. And I'm not going outside right now. As much as I want to, just not a ton of fun. Is the YouTube RC Master. You saying make him a moderator? If I made moderator, I can post links. Oh. There you go, RC Master. I know I see you in here and everywhere all the time, so I trust you, buddy. Not that I don't trust all you guys. I'm just trying to make a few things, and anybody that's trying to post stuff up, we'll make the moderators in here so you guys got some control or can help with everybody else that might be trying to post stuff. You should be a moderator now. Trying to get this other screw. For some reason, this thing's fighting me. There we go. Getting the top plate back on this thing now. What do we got, Kevin? I think you can't go wrong with either one. Chassis testing on the Kraton. Yes, if you're talking about the Kraton 8S with the chassis, I think we're doing nice chassis testing on the Kraton 8S. Yes, the the chassis held up quite well on the Kraton 8S, even taking it head on with a telephone pole. I mean, if that didn't bend the chassis, I'm not really sure what would. So, oh, there he is, NBCRC. Is he in here? Not sure if I was missing people, but yes. Yeah, that's what I was thought about. You know, watching Earl's build there on the MT410 really came out nice. And then it also really makes me want to build again. Because, guys, I had told you this before on the Techno build with the ET48, man. That was the most relaxing, enjoyable time building that car. I just come down here in the garage at night, turn on the radio, turn on music, and just completely zone out down here building that thing. It was just like really fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I honestly want to do something again just to have that moment again and really enjoyed the build. It was nice. The Techno builds go together really great. Really had a lot of fun with that thing. Later, Big Al. Appreciate you stopping in, buddy. Now we got the wind starting up again. Sorry, I was just listening. I was wondering what the noise was outside. All right, well, we got the center brace in. We got this mounted partially back up again. I'm going to go ahead and get the last couple screws in this top plate. Get it mounted to the bulkhead. We'll have this thing together. And then, like I said, I got some parts here for the Kraton 8S. Minor parts, but kind of just finishing the last little bits and pieces that got destroyed on that thing from the telephone pole incident. Also the other thing that's in there is the battery box, because I sheared one of the battery boxes off inside whenever it clocked that telephone pole. So I got a new battery box for it. I mean, I got a whole set of battery boxes. Like I said, the side skirts. We'll tear into the box and see what's all in there. Captain Flannel, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a little while. Good to have you in here. All right. Finish this thing up. Get the old Typhon back together. Little bit of Loctite. You think this will line up on the first try? I think so. I think I actually started it. Or not. Where'd it go? There we go. That sucker is in there. I don't think that will be breaking off anytime soon. Guys, that's what I've been trying to just do on this thing, you know, as things break at that point, you know, get them changed out with something a little better. Yeah, that way. I have been famous, and I mean famous, guys, for putting on A-arms backwards the first time. So many times I have gone to put these things back together, and I put them on backwards. The upper ones, that is. Oh, that also brings up another subject. The X-Max and RPM A-arms. I will never buy another set of RPM A-arms for the X-Max. Now, I just put them on the Kraton 8S. Now, on this car, they're slightly different and beefier where the shock hinge pins go in. However, on the X-Max, it is so thin where the shock pin holds those in, it breaks out of there way too easy. And I know it's cold, and I get that. But even during the summertime, I had broken two of them. I ripped the hinge pin through them, even when it was warmer out. So it's not just the cold. That area where the hinge pin goes through on the X-Max, on those RPMs, is just too thin of plastic. And I ripped it through there again. So I now just ordered, they'll probably be here tomorrow or the next day, but I ordered just the lower. I'm going to keep the top half, the RPM stuff, but all the lower main A-arms, I ordered just the Traxxas heavy-duty version. So I'm going to be putting those on the X-Max now because the RPMs, I'm not real happy with. Man, you can tell when you're drilling into 70-75 aluminum. It has a total different characteristic in snapping, like the way that it kind of crackles when you drill through it. It's a lot different. Guy on a moose, what are you doing? All right, what are we doing here? Sorry, I had to take. What? Typewriter? Who is using a typewriter? I mean, you know, hey, that's how you roll, that's fine, but gotta be honest, I haven't heard anybody use the term or typewriter in a sentence of I gotta get something done in ages. Oh my. Alright. Well, we got the front shock towers drilled out. Got these in there. I'm hoping everything else is nice and straight and lines up here when I go to put these front hinge pins in. It should be. I snap pins on Kraton EXB, gone through armor. Cold. Yeah, I mean, I know, and that's the thing. It's like I know that the wintertime and the cold plays a huge part in that. If I hadn't already broken a couple of them during the summertime, I would say, yeah, it's just the cold weather. But I've been breaking them both ways, whether it's cold or warm out. So that's where I'm kind of just getting... You know, everybody told me, whenever I got those RPMs, they're like, you shouldn't have got those. You should have just got the Traxxas heavy-duty version. You should have got the Traxxas heavy-duty version. Thought, well, I'll try these. If they work out, great. If not, you know, I'll change them out. Well, we have now hit that part of, well, it's time to change them out. Because not real enthused with them. Alright. Word processor. Gotta get M2C pin kit. Oh. The hinge pins, yes. If you're talking about the hinge pin kits, yes, those are definitely a very great, you know, little upgrade to be able to do to save those hinge pins from constantly bending. All right. Well, got set of braces. This is all mounted up. Now all I gotta do is get the new hinge pins mounted up in here. And hopefully everything lines up nicely and doesn't give me too much of a fight or anything. No reason why it really should. But it's always easier said than done sometimes. I need my drill bit. Master made the upgrades too. People got sick of reading the letters. Yeah, I gotta be honest. You know, it was definitely a different time when you could write somebody a letter and do that. Now, I don't even know if you sent somebody a letter, if they would actually ever even read it or respond to it. They would probably think you were just messing with them. Well, that fit up in there nice and snug. Well, that fit in there beautiful, guys. See if I can... But, new hinge pin, that's all mounted up in there. I'm going to get this one mounted up, but everything lined up beautifully. I'm so glad to be getting these changed out. This upper plastic piece has been driving me crazy. Honestly, since owning this car, I mean, you know, not always on film, but I have broken this upper mount probably 3-4 times now. And, you know, it's always given me issues. As soon as you smack anything in the front end of this car, it's the first thing that wants to give. Now I know, obviously, now that it's aluminum, there's probably going to be something else that wants to give. Hopefully, you know, it's not something too major. But that's the game you play, you know? You upgrade one piece, and sometimes it makes something else the weak spot. And then you upgrade that piece, and then you break that piece, you know, and the game goes on. But working on them and getting to do this stuff is half the fun. All right. Trying to get everything started. I always get one of the thicker ones in the front and one of the thicker ones in the back. And we should be able to screw it together. She fit up nice. Make sure everything's tight. Man, she looks good. All right. Well, there she is, guys. Front ends all together. Got the new M2C front and rear shock tower. We got the M2C chassis under this thing already. We got the M2C center braces. Now we got the front hinge pin brace on this thing. Still running the hot racing rear hinge pins on this thing, or rear hinge pin braces. Haven't had any issues with them, so they've been holding up fine. But now we got this upper one, which has always been the problem child. And I was kind of being goofy or stupid. I'm not sure which one it was, or both. I kept trying to find this piece. And everywhere I looked around is when you search, at least when maybe I was having a bad way of searching for it. But every time I tried to search for the Typhon upper hinge pin brace, it would give you all the lower hinge pin braces and all the rear ones, but I could not find this upper one. And it only came and shown in the whole entire pack from Arma, the plastic version. So I was chatting with Mitchell Looper. The one day I was having a little talking with him on the phone, and I asked him about it. I said, do you guys have just that? He goes, well, no. He goes, it's not just the Arma, it's this. It also matches up with that. So after kind of messing around, I looked on their site, and I was like, oh, now it makes sense. I was just kind of being stupid. But at any rate, I found the aluminum version finally. So now, no more of that thing breaking. Now I guess we'll just see what else breaks next time. Hopefully nothing. I think I got the droop set too far on this side. Because this side is just not... Yeah, the droop on this side is set too far. And that's the small. I gotta wind this sucker in a little bit. Maybe. This does have the... Oh, no, I thought I switched this over. I guess I didn't. I can't even see down in here. One thing about the Typhon, guys, man, it is, everything is quite packed in there. I just kind of do it by feel. As soon as I feel that tension coming off the shocks is where I leave it. See, this one I can still feel it's pretty good. It's just starting to take, when you just want that tension being pulled off the shocks, so that when that thing slams back down or rebounds too hard, it doesn't, pull on those shock rod ends and rip those things off. It's what you're looking for, at least how I always adjust them. I like Steve, basically the same, just a bigger, long chassis. I don't know, you guys, what do you guys think? What do you guys think would be kind of a fun build to do? I want it to be like, I want to build like I don't know, I really love the Italian. I love that low profile, that low center of gravity, the width, everything about that car. Something, I don't know, or maybe something just completely different. Not even sure. Well, the Typhon is ready to rock again, and better than ever. I also like that the shock towers on the M2C are wider at the top, and they help kind of cover up the top shock covers and the tops of the shocks. It gives something else to hit against, because usually these things take a lot of the brunt of the damage as soon as this thing comes down on the front. So I like the top of this thing is wider to help cover that up a little bit and protect those shocks. But I think the Typhon's all ready to go. I'm going to go over all the screws in this thing, because I am going to take, I'm hoping, in the next, wow, the motor mounts came a little bit loose on this thing. I'm planning on heading down to that bigger skate park sometime this week. The one that we actually launched this thing at last time. I want to take this thing down there, but I was kind of afraid to in the colder weather, especially with this upper hinge pin brace that always snaps. So I wanted to get this thing fixed up before I took it down there. I think everything else, it's just the motor mount stuff came a little loose. But it feels pretty good now. Really appreciate everybody stopping in here today. Commander A-Stig, what's up, buddy? Wait, I thought you were on the call. No, I am not. I think you read that backwards there, Commander. I was not going out in the 7-degree weather. I will go out in the cold weather, but not this. I told you if you want to come, you want to come out, you could come out. And we could bash together in this cold. We could have a contest, see who breaks stuff first. I'm sure we'd both be losers. No, we are doing some upgrades and changes to the Typhon here, putting some M2C goodies on it, and got the upper hinge pin brace, the upper hinge pin / A-arm brace. At the top, it's plastic. We got this thing changed out, the aluminum version now, because I was tired of snapping that thing. We got the M2C shock towers on it now, and the M2C front brace along with the rear brace, and obviously the chassis. So the Typhon's quite a little beast now. This thing has been a blast. So I feel a little more comfortable just launching this thing now at the skate parks and have a little fun with it here. But now we're going to play. Let's see what we all got in the box of goodies here that I got sent from eBay. I kind of know what most of the stuff is in there, but I didn't really see. I immediately saw that the first few parts and pieces I needed were in there, so I just ordered it. An XL hybrid build is always fun platforms. Yeah, I know. That's what I was talking about a little bit ago. Was the Mojaves, the stretched. What do they call them? The Krahavis or whatever. Something along those lines would probably be fun. So I don't know. I got aluminum shavings all over the place, and I feel like I'm going to get stuck in the finger any moment by it. So I'm going to get rid of this. I just realized you guys were sitting there staring at the workbench. I'm sorry. I need to get like a voice activated so I can switch cameras without having to touch it. I just got a thing, so I know I can hook up more than the 2 cameras. Because I want to do here, now that during the wintertime, I'm going to set my little track up inside the garage. We're going to do some live streams of racing the Mini Bees and stuff around the garage. Don't know if that's anything anybody actually wants to watch, but if you see me racing Mini Bees around my garage some evening, you know why. Alright. From speed car to bash. From speed car to basher, what is better for the Typhon? You mean like what do I like doing with it better? Yeah, but I mean, yes. Oh, if you're just making that statement, yes. The Typhon 6S, I mean, the fact that you can one day throw some street tires on that thing, gear it up, and take it out and rip it almost 100 mile an hour. I hit 98 mile an hour with mine, but that was with stock everything, minus gearing. That was my goal, was leaving all stock electronics that you get with the car, and not doing anything too crazy to it other than tires and gearing. I got it to 98, which I was still pretty proud of. But yeah, one day you can do that, and then the next day throw some dirt tires on it, re-gear it, and go just rip the thing at a skate park, or at a motocross track, whatever. I mean, the Typhon 6S is a very fun, versatile car. Yeah, I got a decent amount of stuff, especially just over the last few months. The only thing I probably really have to get is a chassis to start with, and some steering bits. But most everything else, I mean, I got lots of electronics. I got a whole other brand new sets of tires for different things. Got a decent amount of stuff to actually start a build on. But yeah, I honestly think that is one of the most underrated cars out there, is the Typhon 6S. I mean, I know depending on where you're running and what you're running it on, the lower center of gravity or lower center of clearance can kind of play a part in that, and I get that. But the Typhon is just an all-around great car. I mean, you could do so many things with that thing and have fun with it in so many different ways. It's a great platform. So, if you don't have one, I definitely check one out. Well, we'll start with our bag unboxings here. See if I can turn this stupid brightness up right, where it's not too bright. I don't know if the color of the light would help. I guess that's maybe the best for this. I don't know. We'll go with that. I still haven't ordered T4 and never saw. Yeah, Typhon 4, man. You cannot go wrong with the Typhon. I want to get the blue body for it, though. I'll tell you what. I really like the older version Typhon body. I've been looking around for one. I haven't come across one just yet. But I really like the blue body. Alright, so we got a brand new set of side guards. Don't really need these, but like I said, they sent them along with it. It's always not bad to have some spare parts for the Kraton. And these are brand new. I don't know what they do with these cars or why people sell all this stuff in packages like this. But anyway, a whole new center brace, the top center brace tower that holds all your main center brace connectings. An antenna tube. Here are the battery boxes, which is something I do have to change out on the one side, because I completely, when the battery slammed forward from that dead stop on the telephone pole, it completely snapped off this whole top. It just cut the thing right off. Got a whole nother ESC and servo box, the little power box, and I really liked how Arma did this setup, guys. How with a few screws, you can take out all of your electronics in one big swoop. You know, your servo, all your receiver and everything have it one big block. I like this setup. I honestly do. Strip off your sweater. I gotta see your shirt. Yes. This is one of my Arma shirts. I got one like this, one slightly different. It's got it is Arma with like tire tread, like the off of the Kraton, whatever tires those are. Anyway, it has the tread pattern over top of it with the Arma. I got a couple Losi ones. I don't have a techno shirt yet, though. I actually need a techno shirt. I gotta find me one of those. I haven't bought a techno shirt yet. I still had old Typhon, amongst others, with the original. Wow! They had the original one still. That's cool. Alright, so we got a couple more battery boxes. So I got a full set of all 4 battery boxes. And then, I don't know, the front bumper, which we're going to change out on it. And the rear bumper, which we are going to change out on it. Because the back one got all busted up back here where the hinge pins go through and lock into this thing. They got all ripped apart in there. I mean, they were in pretty bad shape. I also included this little piece, which I know we talked about this one time, or I asked somebody what this was for. If this was for venting, or why exactly you could take this on and off. Obviously, if it was off, you would get some airflow through here. But I don't know if it's just for that or if it's for motors, for a motor to clear maybe. I know we talked about this, but I don't remember what the answer was now. And no, I'm not answering my phone right now. Too bad. Yeah, I was on Horizon Hobby. One day I was on there looking at other stuff, and I happened to come across I was looking through their t-shirt stuff. And needless to say, yeah, I ordered like 3 or 4 different shirts from them. So, but we're going to change out this stuff on the Kraton 8S now. I'm going to keep my bag of parts for, I'm sure, at some point I'll need them. Because nothing always lasts. I don't know what these pieces were for. This must be like a Kraton thing. Not sure. 6S upper hinge pin block. But what these little pieces were for. I know you guys are getting blinded by this stupid light. Because the camera doesn't know better than not to focus on. But anyway. I'll keep them around. I don't know what they're for, but we'll keep them. I'm going to take them out of the packaging and save the old screws. We'll set them aside. At some point I might need them. Alright, well, we'll dig the old beast up here now. Oh. Sucker ain't light anymore. She's not, she was never light. What am I talking about? Kraton 8S. As you guys can see, eats up my entire workbench. I'm trying to find the new workbench, guys. I want something bigger and longer. I was looking at, what was it? Home Depot had these really nice, I think they were made by Husky. But they were a real thick wooden, wow, that looked weird. They were like a really thick wooden butcher block type of top tube. They had one shelf, they had a drawer, but they had a crank and you could adjust the height of them. The only thing I was concerned about was the size because they were like 4 by 6, I think. And it was going to come pretty deep into the garage. So I've been kind of debating if I want to do it or not. But they're really nice tables. And they give you tons of work area to work on, to be able to work on the larger 5th scale cars like this. Make life way easier for sure. So I think I might just bite the bullet and get one. But it's the old Kraton. So we're going to pull and change out these bumpers. Because, like I said, most of them, the hinge pin holders where the pins lock into them, are all chewed up, and I don't want to end up with the pins getting out of alignment and breaking or ripping anything out over a bumper. Now I just can't seem to find a screw head. There's one. There we go. So, because guys, I put on this thing, like I said, I didn't do this on live, but I recently did a bunch of changes on this thing also. Obviously we got the M2C chassis on here. I got the full set of the M2C upper and lower hinge pin blocks on this, on the front and rear. When I was changing those out is when I realized how gummed up the inside of these things were, and the holes were all out of oval. And I know that the aluminum hinge pins obviously do the majority of all that, but since the pins keep the thing from sliding forward, and on the rear, I'll show you, it actually punched through the plastic. So the pin could start working its way out. So that's why I'm just changing all of them out now and just getting it over with. Figure, you know, a few dollar part like this is not worth having to lose a hinge pin and end an early bash day, you know? So when I found this whole kit on eBay for whatever it was, like 12 or 14 bucks, I couldn't pass it up. It's like, I can get everything all in one. It's great. I mean, I don't know if you guys get on there very often and look at those, but quite often on eBay, these guys are selling a whole packs of, you know, Kraton, 6S parts, Typhon parts, Big Rock, 3S, 6S line, a whole entire bag of brand new parts, for really cheap. I have come across multiple times stuff for my Typhon and the Kratons, plastic bits and pieces I've needed, a whole entire bag of the stuff for, less than 20 bucks. What's up, Kurtz? How's it going, bud? All right. Got the front one changed out. The old Kraton 6S is seeing some love. This thing is a blast. I really do love the Kraton. When I first got it, I was a little bit... I don't know. I like taking it out, but it was kind of... I cringed every time I jumped this thing. I was just waiting for the chassis to bend on me again, because I bent one chassis really easily. I was snapping miscellaneous bits and pieces, shock ends, shock shafts, just different things. And now, after upgrading a lot of it, you know, I can go out and launch this thing and feel pretty comfortable, honestly, and not worry about breaking anything. The big issue has been, you know, I haven't busted many A-arms on it until the telephone pole incident. Now we got these RPMs on here, and I'm hoping this wasn't a huge mistake, but I guess we'll see. But like I said, on the RPM, on the Kratons, you know, these are quite a bit thicker. The X-Max, they didn't beef them up like that, like overextend the plastic. It's just smooth. And they just don't seem heavy enough, but I guess we'll see how they hold up. But anyway, you guys can see, number one, this thing is way, way worn down. And like I said, back here, in the back holes, don't know how well you can see that, but it actually started to punch through the plastic and really ovaled out it. So, that's why I figured it was a good time to change these things out and get the new bumpers on this thing. Bumper slash hinge pin retainers. I mean, obviously they're mainly bumpers, but it was a good time to get them changed out. One good thing was, last time I took this thing out, I didn't have any shock shafts breaking or shock ends. These new 7mm shock rods, and I got from M2C, man, these things are a beast. They definitely, I don't see these breaking very easily. At least that's what I hope. Let's see here. So this is the battery box here that broke. So I'm going to go ahead, get this one unscrewed. I was going to take this thing out the other day, and I decided not to at the last minute because of this battery box. All I could see is me wrecking this thing again or hitting something and having this whole battery box, you know, the battery fly forward and slam into my ESC or something and break something else. But as you guys can see, it completely busted off the whole entire thing. So that thing is toast. Let's see, what do we got here? Is this the right side? No. Do I have the right one? Yes, there we go. Nice, new, shiny battery box. Beautiful. It's been durable because it's stock power. I imagine I've broken ARs a couple times. Yeah. Well, you know, and that's... I try to mention that to people a lot. You know, the durability of something all depends also on what you've done to it and what you're doing with it. I mean, obviously anything can and will break. But it's as soon as you start putting in bigger power systems in something and wanting to go faster and wanting to jump bigger, you know, other problems come in line with that for sure. Now I love launching them. I just love having fun like that. But you just see, man, it's like days I'll go out and just run my low-seas. Just rip around the parking lot and have a blast like that, and then the next day go out and launch the X-Max off a vert wall. I mean, it's all fun, and everybody can enjoy it how you do. I just noticed my rear camber, I don't know if I've ever set these up really, but the camber of this rear tire is a little bit off. It's towed out rather far. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm going to adjust that thing in a little bit because it's definitely running the outside of the rim a little harder. Yeah, plastic chassis are great. up until a certain point, and then you start running into other issues with, depending on if it's cold weather, and different things. It just depends on what you're doing with them. I've always had a lot of fun with the 3S line of cars, but I really love the 6S line and the 8S line. It's just a lot of fun to rip these things around. Both of these cambers were off a little bit. I'm just eyeballing it, obviously. But you can always tell when they're too far one direction or another. And that looks a lot better. Well, oh, it actually did. Never mind. I guess we're going to change that one out too. I didn't even notice that. I don't think it had broke. I almost was going to change out the side skirt at one point on this thing because I thought it ripped that servo horn. But it doesn't. It didn't actually break it apparently. We're going to change out this back one too. Only because it started tearing the Velcro. I could just change that out, but man, that thing is in there. Sucker got really stuck in there. The new one's in here, but I left it in the bag, and I'm not digging the bag back out now. I do believe those go right there. But this will get it. This will get the Kraton all back to where she needs to be, and where it's supposed to be. I gotta make sure I get this hole lined up here. Did I not hit it? Well, I guess it's good I'm changing that out too. I guess I'm going to have to change that out. Because it actually did rip. I wonder why that screw just kind of came out rather easy. Apparently in the crash, it ripped the threads out of the part of the plastic that holds the battery box in. So, turns out I'm going to have to change that out anyway. You know what? I'm just going to put all brand new ones in it. The heck with it. This whole side can just get all new by it, and I'll just change both of them out. Or I should have just done that from the start. Plastic chassis are just... Yeah. You know, and that's just like all it goes, man. All cars kind of have a great place and a good place where they shine and they work the best. And I've enjoyed all of them at different places, you know, and it all depends on what you're doing with them. You know, what's good for one person might not necessarily be good for another person, and how they drive or where they drive theirs. You know, if you're running a lot of skate parks and running them hard, you know, plastic chassis are not the place. I have broken... I mean, literally in one summer, I probably broke 6, maybe 7 chassis at a skate park between my Typhon and my big rock and stuff I had, and it was just constant. Every time I'd go to a skate park, I was breaking a chassis. My Kraton 4S, I think I changed the chassis out on that thing, I think 3 or 4 times. It just, you know, when you have those really hard landings, or come up a little too far, a little too short, whatever it might be, you know, you don't have that give that an aluminum chassis can deal with. So, it all depends on where you're running them at. Well, I think that's all of it. I actually have every single car at the moment, guys, running, and nothing, you know, kind of fixed or temporarily fixed. Like, actually everything is fixed and ready to roll. And you know it's wintertime when that happens because I've had more time to be able to work on the stuff to go out and run, but everything's actually up and running. I'm hoping, I want to get the Mojave out again. Like I said, in the Outcast video I was out the other day, you guys will see, you know, I had the X-Max out for a little bit, had a lot of fun with it, but ended up having some early breakage. But after that, I came back here and decided to rip the Mojave around for a while. And guys, I had a blast with that truck. Just out there racing around in the lots, in the grass and everywhere, and blasting through snow plows and stuff. Like, I had a lot of fun with the Mojave. I mean, that thing handles completely different from any other trucks I have right now. Like, the way that it kind of just squats and really hugs the turns, like, you would really feel like that truck would roll a lot easier than it does. Now, it was slick out, so it was sliding a lot, I get that, but the truck was just a blast running around out there. It was just tearing it around through the snow and had a blast. Arma tough, yeah. You know, the whole thing of everybody always being Arma tough, Trax is tough, this, that, you know, it's like, I know everybody loves saying it just to kind of get a rise out of people, but, you know, they're all just, they all break. It doesn't matter. Some things do hold up, depending on, like I said, some things hold up better under certain conditions, but they all break, you know. Run what you like, run what makes you smile. I sit there and laugh at myself for, you know, like this Kraton was holding up great. What do I got to do? I got to go slam it into a telephone pole head first. I mean, what else are you going to do but laugh? That's all I've done anymore. It's like, I know I'm going to always break them. It's going to break every run. Every time I leave on a bash, you automatically just know, well, I wonder what's going to break this time. Because it's going to happen, so you just got to embrace it, you know? Embrace the breakage and enjoy yourself. Because people that always tell me that they're like, you know, I don't want to take my car out. You know, I don't want to take it out in the snow. I don't want to take it out in this. You know, I don't want to break it. It's like, I get, you know, everybody kind of looks at hobbies and toys and things and objects differently. But, guys, I mean, they're fun. They're meant to be fun. They're meant to go out and enjoy yourself. You know, you break them, you fix them, you put them back together again. If you're scared of learning how to work on them, honestly, breaking them is a great way to get yourself used to fixing them and getting comfortable with them. Because, you know, as you break them and you want to get them running again, you have to learn how to tear them apart. And they're not that bad. It might seem daunting at first, looking at all the little screws and remembering which screws and which length of ones went where. But, you know, even if you poke into a manual or somebody's video online, you know, doing a teardown, you'll figure it out. And it's not that daunting at all. And by the end of it, you'll start actually enjoying that part of it. Tearing these things apart, replacing stuff, upgrading them, building them. It's a great way to do it. So, you know, I mean, and certain cars are worse than others. Like the Kraton, I don't really like tearing the drivetrain out of this thing. I don't know why. It's really not that much worse than a lot of cars, but for some reason, every time I think about it, I'm just, I'd rather run my foot over with my truck, but I do it anyway. Yeah, you know, Traxxas, you know, I've had this conversation with you guys, I think, you know, a couple times. Traxxas, there's a few cars of Traxxas I will not own. I'm not going to get into it right on here as far as what cars I hate, but there is a few of the cars that I own that I would, if somebody said, I will give you this, I would tell them, keep it. I don't even want it. Now, a few of them so far, the Max, the new V2 Max, I'm having a lot of fun with it. The durability, it seems pretty great. The electronics in it are, especially the ESC, I think is way underpowered. I mean, for the amount of money that Traxxas, we're going to pull this thing out here for a second. We can kind of have a little short discussion about this because, oh geez. Well, the Kraton 8S is fixed up. You guys want to hear, you know, opinion on this thing? The X-Max or the Max? It's a fun truck. Thing jumps pretty nice. Seems pretty durable. Is it worth $549? Absolutely not. I mean, the price of this thing for what you get is completely and utterly ridiculous. I mean, for that same price, you can go and buy yourself pretty much just about the same price a new Kraton 6S. 6S car, wider, bigger, aluminum, you know, far better car, not these goofy proprietary parts like their servo in the Max. The fact that they have this goofy servo setup in these, that you could pretty much only use this servo, at least at the moment, unless something else is out there for it that I'm unaware of. There could be. But the fact that Traxxas uses these type of things in their cars is just insanity. The ESC, the stock 4S ESC is garbage. It's underpowered. It's gutless. You got to put a different ESC in this thing to make it really any good. The steering links, we already had that conversation. The fact that they, for almost $600, they give you a car with solid plastic steering links blows my mind. I mean, I get that, you know, with the idea of things being plastic, that it's going to be more flexible. But in certain places, you have to, you know, you do have to put some aluminum in certain places to get the rigidity and get the stiffness. Or as simple as steering links that you can actually repair and not have to replace with a solid Walmart-style steering link. I mean, come on, guys. It's just insane. I mean, the fact that, you know, you've had his car and what you spent on, what I've already invested back into this thing now. You know, I got the Hot Racing C-Cup, or yeah, the C-Hubs and the steering blocks, a different ESC, which, I mean, I didn't pay for the ESC, but if you had to go out and buy the ESC and replace this thing out, you know, there you're looking at another $100, $150 for an ESC. I think I got $50 in the Hot Racing bits and pieces I got in here, another $40 in the goofy Traxxas steering links. So now we're up to, you know, an additional, let's see, probably $250 basically invested into this truck. So now we are now at an $800 truck. Yeah, almost an $800 truck if my math is not all screwed up right now. In a 4S truck. $800 basically in a 4S truck to make it do or be what it should have been from the start. It isn't worth it. But the truck is fun, and I bought it, and I'm going to keep it, and I do enjoy it. But I'm just complaining about what I can complain about, you know? I mean, I just don't get why they do certain things they do, and the fact that the price point on this car for what you get is not there. It's not really worth it, because you can get so much better, bigger, faster cars for the price is where my problem comes into play with it. But I mean, guys, again, it's all on what you want. You know, you want a Max, you want a wide Max, and that's what you're looking for. That's awesome. Grab one, have fun with it. I'm complaining about the things that just since I've had it, what bother me. But you know, it's a good time. I mean, the fact that the durability of this thing so far, even in the cold weather, now that the steering links and the C-hubs are changed out, I'm pretty impressed with it. You know, there's definitely seemed like it's made weak spots, but the truck's fun. It is a good time. So, I'm going to stick Bachelor Sports. Cheaper. Well, yeah. I do. RC Max Spencer. I like both. I mean, I love my X-Max. I won't say I love, but I really like my Max. And I love my Armas. I love my Techno. You know, I'm not bashing any brand. I'm just, any one of the cars, you know, that came out were ridiculous. I mean, we want to get another complaining factors like the Kraton 6S EXB. You know, you buy that thing that was $5-something with no electronics, a crappy chassis. I mean, for the fact that they're supposed to be an EXB chassis, Arma's EXB chassis that was supposedly $70-75 is a joke, and it's trash. And, I mean, they're not even worth it. That's why I've said at this point, I'm just buying the RTR models, and I'm going to upgrade them from there how I want them, because their EXB version isn't so EXB to me. They're not that great. I have too many bent EXB chassis in this garage right now that says otherwise. So, the RTR model, is the way to go, and just upgrade it from things as you bend them, break them, whatever it is, upgrade it from there. But the EXBs themselves, I would never waste my money with it again. Especially if you're just getting one of your first cars, it's not worth it to have to buy the car and all the electronics and get all that money invested in it, and then still have to go upgrade the chassis and other things as you start beating on it harder and harder. Still, you have to upgrade this stuff anyway. It was supposed to be the upgraded version. It doesn't seem worth it, at least to me. But anyway, guys, I'll stop with the complaining about the brands. Max would take a much harder beating than a stock Outcast 6S. I would say that the stock Max would take. Honestly, the Outcast 6S is an awesome truck. That thing can definitely take, especially due to its shorter wheelbase, it gives it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the shorter wheelbase that it allows it to kind of take the hits and bounces more. But my Outcast 6S, that truck has been kicking and taking some serious abuse too, and it has always continued to roll. After kind of getting the A-arms and the drive shaft issues addressed on that thing, the Outcast has been an awesome truck. Had a ton of fun with that thing. I'm really curious to see how the new Mojave holds together. It seems like a fun truck. Seems like it's going to be a good time. Since the kind of the truck, I'm wondering, as far as launching that thing, because with any short course truck, you get that floating effect. So I'm wondering if you're not going to be able to beat it quite hard enough to bend the chassis, is what I'm kind of wondering. So I'm not going to upgrade the chassis or any of that stuff until it actually needs it. I think at this point, I'm just going to see how it goes. Would you recommend the new Max? Now, Jay Boogie, is this your first? What old cars do you have already? That's my first question. Because if it's going to be one of your first 4S or 6S cars, no, I wouldn't. Just because of the price point and what you get. However, if you're just wanting to get something 4S, because that's one thing right now as far as Arma or Max or Traxxas has, is that there's not many 4S cars out there in that category. Arma completely failed and dropped the ball on releasing a new 4S line. Everybody thought there was going to be a new 4S line. Well, that went by the wayside. Now, guys, today's what? Today's Monday? Tuesday, what? So we got 3 more days. 3 more days until the new car, which I cannot wait to see what this is going to be. I'm very curious to see what this thing looks like exactly. But in a few days, we will have a new car from Arma, from what I'm gathering, and we'll see what this is going to be. I'm kind of excited from the little bits and pieces that I have caught wind of. I think it's going to be cool. Have you... Dave, on the Mojave, the only things I've done to the Mojave so far, I'm not sure what I just didn't read your question right, but I put the extended hubs on it with the double nuts. I got the M2C double nut hubs on this thing. I have put the EXB center braces on it in the middle. I put new shock oil in this thing because the suspension felt good, but it was a little bit too soft. So I went with 60 weight front and rear all around on this thing, and it feels really nice. And just from the other day, out there jumping it around a little bit and having some fun with it, the suspension felt phenomenal, but won't know until we really get to launch it. But did the shocks, went over the differentials. There's a couple other things I did on this thing. What else did I do? Oh, I also changed the gearing on it. I went up 1 tooth. I didn't have an 18 tooth pinion was what I was looking for. I only had a 17, so I only went up 1 tooth, but I did gear it up a tiny bit, and I turned the punch up to 7, and just ripping this thing around out there the other day, man, this thing was a ton of fun. What's up, Froggy? How's it going, bud? What's up, Trevor? How's it going, man? This is WL Toys. Everyone should recycle. What? I know. Everyone has their own opinions, as most would say. Run your shit. Let me run my. Exactly. Well, that's exactly it. You know, everybody's got their own opinions, and I am not here to say, well, this is what I run. You know, if you don't run that, it's garbage. I don't. Guys, I have said this multiple times, and I cannot illustrate it enough. I am not here to try to tell anybody what is the best. I show you what I do, what I have, and how I run mine, and the issues I have. I'm here to show you my enjoyment for the hobby, and whether or not it's in, 16th scale cars, or 5th scale cars, or slow cars, or fast cars, or Traxxas, Arma, it doesn't matter. I'm just here for the fun and showing you guys what I do. Any guys that have been around here long enough know that I sit here and will bitch and rip on Arma one day, Traxxas the next day, whatever it is, because of the issues you're finding with certain things. But I have fun with all of them. It doesn't matter the brand. I have fun with all of them. And nobody should be able to tell you differently what's right or wrong. However you enjoy the hobby and how you have fun in there is what's best. That's the best way to say it. Well, I have, exactly, Captain Flannel. There is no wrong way to do this hobby. There is no right or wrong way. Everybody's always looking for the right or wrong way or the best way to do things. It's how you enjoy it and what things suit your way the best. Things I do to my cars, something might not suit other people. I don't know how many people I've heard just over the last few months about different bits and pieces and upgrades that I put on different cars, whether or not it be power systems in cars or axles or whatever, and oh, that seems totally overkill. Well, it might seem totally overkill for what you do with the car. For what I do with the car, it seems completely irrational because, I'm tired of breaking or bending that same part multiple times when I go out. So it all depends on what you're doing with the car. That's all it comes down to. Yeah, honestly, everybody comes out. Unless you are a massive fanboy and refuse to admit the faults that the car that you have, and that's another thing that comes into play a lot of times, guys. I've learned, guys that will get a car, one or two cars, and it's the same car, and I get it. And I've literally heard people kind of talk about this. They're like, I saved up, this, and I got this car, and this is the best car that, I heard that you could get, and they get set in that this car, whatever it might be, is the best car that his money could buy at that time, and it might be a great car. It might be a fun car. But it doesn't make it that anything else beyond that is right or wrong. I don't know if all that kind of made sense, but hopefully that made sense what I was trying to explain there, guys. But some people just get kind of set in their opinions. My opinion just varies upon if something's trash or not. To be honest, if it doesn't matter what brand it is, it doesn't matter what car it is. If it's garbage, it's garbage. If it's good, it's good. But all of them have their goods and their bad goods and bad sides to them. What is this? This new Arma car coming. Is it off-road or on-road? I'm not getting into the discussion of that, honestly, guys. I'll get into a lot of stuff, but I'm not getting into the car. Hey, in a few days, we'll all see what car it is. It sounds like it's going to be pretty exciting. But, yeah, it should be pretty neat, I think. Wait, you got to be honest about what shit with your favorite RCs. I love my Gatekeeper. If you don't put two Puma wheels on the top of it. Yeah. Well, Froggy, that's the thing with any car. Certain cars, and I'm sure all of you see this a million times on the Facebook sites, like the X-Max group and the Arma groups and stuff like that, see this question on a daily basis. Oh, I just bought the new X-Max. Real quickly, what should I get for this thing immediately? Dude, run the car. Go out, run the car, find out what you break, and then worry about upgrading it. I mean, there hasn't been very few cars that I have ever bought that I did not go out and run at least three to a half dozen times before I really did anything major to them. You know, I might change the suspension a little bit because you know they're too soft. But, you know, just go out and run the car. Everybody always wants, I know, and again, it's hard to fault them because I understand where people are at. If you're in this hobby, that when you get these cars, the first things you're looking at is, ooh, what can I change? What can I make go faster? What can I do this? And I get it. Best advice I can do, if you're going to get a new car, go out, run the thing a bit, have some fun with it, find out what breaks, and then worry about the upgrades. The Tycho Bandit. Yeah, guys, man, I cannot remember what it was. My first one. It was from Radio Shack. I can picture it in my mind. It was black. It wasn't all black. It was like, I know, I'm going to be no help with explaining this. I can kind of see it in my brain. I know it had a white wing, and it was kind of a darker color, but I can't remember what it was for the life of me. I remember I got it from Radio Shack, and, you know, it had the really big, knobby style tires on it. And I remember those were one of the first actual, like, hobby grade that I could go back to Radio Shack and get new parts for it and rebuild it and batteries and all that good stuff. But I cannot remember what the car was now. I cannot remember what that car was. Nyko. See, that name's really familiar too, but I don't remember what it was. I honestly cannot remember what Radio Shack sold then, what all brands they were. Because there was a time, like all during the kid, when I was a kid, you know, I had multiple different cars and had a lot of fun with them. During the years of getting married and different things going on at that time, you know, I kind of have gotten out of the hobby and was racing motocross, a lot of other things going on, and then had recently gotten back into it. And but anyway, so there's kind of a lull there. I don't remember. Oh yes, RC Crazy. That was one thing, man. And that's another thing. And I get kids in these groups and on YouTube that are commenting about, I just got this so-and-so car, and this thing is so fast, it almost does 100 miles an hour. It's like, you know, there's not a chance that it's going 100 miles an hour. It's probably not even doing 50 miles an hour. But as a kid, those things look fast. They're going fast. You're having fun, and that's what got all of us into this, you know, is getting those cars that we thought were super fast, and then actually going out and building cars that are super fast, and getting to kind of relive all of that fun and joy is the great part about this hobby, and it's a blast, and absolutely love it. I just watch them. I run a Serpent Cobra Truggy. Seriously. Serpent has been durable enough for me. Yeah. It's a Truggy. Oh, the SRX-8E. Is that a 6S? Is that a 6S car? I guess we're kind of done fixing everything and doing the stuff we were going to do today. I'm going to hold on to this and, of course, my spare screws and bits and pieces. Always save your spare screws, guys. Everybody needs one of these right here. A big old jar filled up with extra screws. You know how many times this jar right here has saved my butt with things like when you lose those odd size bolts and you have this entire thing. I have new sets of brand new screws, but they don't always have all those oddball things that you hold on to. And it's always good to save those screws. I suddenly feel like my grandfather. I remember going down into his basement as a kid, and he had all those things, and I'm sure some of you guys seen them too, things where there was the planks of wood with all the mason jars style, or, you know, pickle jars that locked in, just filled with tons of screws and bolts and stuff like that. I always remember seeing those, and it seemed like there was every single bolt and thing you could possibly need in those things. What do I think Arma's coming out with? I think it's good. I think it's going to be something off-road. I think it's going to be something larger. The style, personally, I don't think it's going to be like anything that's currently in the Arma lineup. That's my best way to describe it. But I could be completely wrong. So, but I think, they already have, the Kraton's layout, the Typhon, the Mojave, all these different things. But if you think about other brands and other cars that are out there and some of the body styles and the looks of certain things, there's one kind of body style that's missing a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. When will you back on? I will be back out. As of right now, I will be back out there. What the heck was it? In February, like middle of February? I got to remember the date, but I'll be back out in California for a couple weeks during the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know when the Super Bowl is because I don't pay that close of attention to sports. But we'll be out there. We'll be out there probably, I don't know, a week or so before the Super Bowl starts. So there'll be a big period of time out there, and I'm hoping that timing works out again to be able to meet up, hopefully meeting up with Earl and maybe GRC. And if there's anybody else out there, in near the Los Angeles area, because we're going to be staying somewhere near LA as far as I know. There's been some discussion on moving locations. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's going to be somewhere out there and near Los Angeles. So anybody that's in that area, hopefully we could try and plan together a big bash day out there. Would be awesome. I was talking with Duper Bash, and he's in Southern California, or Northern. He's further north. So I was hoping to see who all could get together. But I know I was already talking with Earl. And, of course, he's like, yeah, let me know. And I'm sure, hopefully, GRC could make it out there again. And if there's anybody else in the same area, it'd be awesome if we get a bunch of us meet together. Bystand waiting on the 3S rally. Well, I don't know if there's going to deal with a rally. I mean, it's always a possibility. A rally is possible. Again, I don't know. For some reason, any of that's just like gets close. I won't say it's even close to crawling. But I just don't think that that's a line that Arma kind of is going to move into, I don't see. But I could be totally wrong. I mean, you guys can always kind of see what Arma does and what they put together. They kind of on a certain line of things. But it's possible they might decide to transform into that, just like they won't. I don't see Arma ever getting into crawlers or anything like that. That's, they got the Rift, they got Axial, and they're all part of Horizon. There's no need for it, really. I don't foresee it happen. I have a feeling it's going to be something more of buggy related, kind of. Everyone comes to Wales. Come to Wales? I think that might be a bit of a trip, buddy, but if I'm ever over there, absolutely. Everybody, it doesn't matter. Plastic chassis or aluminum chassis. The Traxxas plastic chassis or Arma, for that matter, either one of them, the stock Arma aluminum chassis, if you start jumping them really hard, they're going to bend. So you're going to have to change those out and upgrade them anyway. The Arma plastic chassis are great through a certain line. You start breaking those, you change them out. The only good thing is about you do deal with the 3S line is that when you break a plastic chassis on an Armor, you're out $20. Usually $19.99. You can pick up a new one on eBay, have it in a couple days, and have it back together. And that's definitely one benefit to the 3S line. Yeah, as long as you don't get too stupid with them, you can definitely get away with it. I mean, my big rock right now, it's cracked. I've been trying not to get too stupid with that thing recently, or take it out in this cold weather, because I already got about an inch long crack, maybe about 2 inches long, right near the back center of it, that the chassis flexed and cracked. And I know that the next massive impact is just gonna end up a two-piecer. Yeah, exactly. Think about what's missing from their lineup. Yeah, I mean, the chassis, you can tell the plastic, I don't know what it is. There's definitely, it almost seems like some sort of fiberish material to it. I don't know what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. The 3S line chassis, like on the Big Rock and all those, they are a very durable chassis. They have a limitation. I mean, just like any car does. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the X-Max or any of the Kratons. I mean, everything has limitations to what they're going to take. And if you exceed that, you break something, it's on you. And you know you broke it. It's, you're doing something, you're going a little harder. Yeah, it's some sort of little fibers. Every time I've looked at those really finely, you can see it almost has that light fiberglass looking fiberish stuff to it. But they're pretty durable. Yeah, it's like a composite plastic fiber stuff. I thought about a guy on a Moose getting a rally car, but I don't know with where I usually run and places I run around here. And that's another big thing that all dictates what kind of cars you should have, or what kind of cars are best for you, should I say, is all depending on where you're going to be running. If I had a lot of open dirt fields, and if I was more on the West Coast and the areas dealing with that, probably a rally car would be awesome. Around here, you're pretty much either in parking lots, which there isn't even many of those, but it's all tracks. I mean, everywhere that I get to pretty much run these cars, there's always some sort of a track, either skate park, BMX track, or motocross track. So I don't really think I'd get to use a rally truck that much. I mean, I could probably mess around with it a bit on a BMX track, but the motocross track is too rough for it. So it has to be something with bigger tires and clearance. That's why, you guys see me down at the motocross track. I don't take the 3S line or even the 4S stuff down to the motocross track very often, because it just doesn't have the grind clearance. Because, I mean, you got chunks of mud laying around that are this big around. I mean, even hitting them with the X-Max or the Kraton 8S, I mean, it still knocks them for a loop. But on those things, it'll just plain kill them or rip a wheel off. Most brands will follow what their RCs are growing and focus. Yeah, and if you guys haven't noticed, I mean, the whole off-road buggy, desert buggy style thing, I think has been kind of coming, a lot to life, and people have been having a lot of fun with that and realizing the versatile of it. So that's why I wouldn't be surprised if it's something along those lines. Whew. Had to find my red. Had to get the old Red Bull. Today, thank God, finally today, guys. We're going to finish this up here. I know we're just kind of yakking now, but I don't know if any of you guys out there had the booster shot. I wasn't trying to go get it. However, I know we're kind of going into a whole other conversation here, but I had to pretty much go get the booster shot, because not our company, but all the networks we work for. A lot of these networks that everybody watches on television, not naming names, but they basically were pushing it to where we can't have any of your employees that are not vaccinated or have the booster on our location. So then it came back to where, well, then if they can't hire us, then they can't use us. You guys see where this is going, and it's turning into this whole situation. But anyway, I had to go get my booster, not yesterday, the day before. and I got it, and everything was fine. And then yesterday, man, I woke up and I felt like I had one of the worst hangovers. Like, I didn't feel really sick, but I felt completely wrung out. Like, my couch and a glass of, I was drinking Arnold Palmer. It was like my best friend. I just laid there on the couch and watched TV all day and, like, barely had the gumption to stand up and go to the bathroom. It was amazing. I went to sleep last night a little bit earlier, woke up this morning, and I feel fine today. So, luckily, it passed quickly. Yeah, there's a lot of this. Yeah, I mean, guys, no matter where anybody stands on this, I was not on board of. I was not real. I was not wanting to get the vaccination. I had no interest in it. I had already had COVID, so I kind of felt like I was somewhat decently, safe from it for a while. I know there's been many discussions on how long the antibodies and all that stuff last, but I had it whenever COVID first started in the U.S. I was in Florida, or no, I was in Atlanta, and I got hit with it, and it knocked me down for. I got home the day I got it. The next day I came home from the show, luckily, and I was in bed for probably 3 or 4 days. I did not leave my bed. And just walking up the stairs, I would get winded. And, it was bad. But I had it then. And I've never had any issues. And I've had other colds, in the last year and a half. And I've been tested dozens and dozens and dozens of times. And I've never had it. But they want us to have the shots. So that's what we're dealing with. But anyway, I was just curious if anybody else. Question started with: does anybody else get the booster that got hit harder on the booster than they did the first one? Do you know if MTC will be making a stock length axle spindles for the X-Max? I haven't heard anything about that, but I will talk. I'll ask Avery and Mitchell. I'm sure you guys seen, Rocky from Thunder RC. He put the Wide Max kit on his and put the extended axles on his, and he said it was pretty ridiculous. That he said it was very planted and held great to the ground. I just have the extended axles on mine, and it's personally I think it's perfect. It is a perfect width. It still handles and steers really nicely. It actually handles better, I think. It stays very planted to the ground, and it's not too wide to where you're going to start getting so much flex that you're going to start bending axles and having issues with that. Because that's been the bigger issue I've heard with even the regular Wide Max, the X-Max wide kit, was that it was still a little too long, and people were starting to bend the drive shafts really easily. I don't know if anybody in here has had that problem yet, but they went 30 millimeters on either side, so a total of 60 millimeters wider, I believe. The M2C axles are 15 per side, giving you a total of 30, so it's literally half. And I think it seems like it's a pretty good width. My daughter has Paul. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, Captain Flannel, that's been the other thing. I have had a few friends and people that I know that are even a lot younger, in their late 20s, in really good shape, and they have got it, and they said that it has completely knocked them down to where they were on the verge of going into the hospital. And, it's that whole conversation, I think, it's too much of a loaded question to get into, but, I definitely see the thing with people with underlying health problems and other issues and stuff going on. It can definitely be very, very detrimental and very dangerous. If you're relatively healthy or healthy and don't have other underlying issues, it's going to knock you down for a few days, but you're going to get past it. But I've heard so many different stories about it. every case is different is the big problem, I think. Yeah, I know he's been breaking. Yeah, I'm really jealous. Man, he's in Texas because he's on the M2C testing team, and they're chatting. It's like so jealous between him and Rich out there in Texas and in California, and Earl. You guys getting out to go out there and run and have fun and rip your cars around, and I'm sitting here looking at single-digit temperatures and snow flurries coming down. It's kind of sad, guys. Please shed a tear for me. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, I think we're about to wrap this up. Got the Kraton 8S. The Kraton 8S is now 100% ready to go. The Typhon is now 100% ready to go and bigger and better than ever. Everything is running. Everything is ready to rip. I think me and Trevor, well, I don't know if Trevor's going to join me again or not. I'll have to see what his work schedule is. But we're going to head up to the indoor track. Now that I got my techno sorted out with the steering, I'll probably be a lot happier with that and my braking. But probably head up there and have some fun. But we're going to close this one out, guys. I really appreciate y'all stopping in here today. And all the support. I just seen we're just about to hit 4,500 subscribers on this channel, guys. I just can't believe it. Really send a big thank you to anybody out there, old and new to the channel. Thank you so much, guys. I really always appreciate the support. And, always dropping in for the live streams and comments and liking videos. I really do appreciate it. And I'm just going to continue to try to make the videos better and better and some more live streams as we can do stuff and enjoy it and have some fun together. But that's going to do it, guys. I hope you all have fun out there, and hopefully it's not too cold. Hopefully you get some bashes in and have some fun. If you're not, though, enjoy some time with your family and have some fun. But that's going to do it, guys. So, you know the story. Until next time, y'all be safe. Be careful out there. Peace out, everybody.